Veterans Integrated Service Network. It's our network or region of VA hospitals. VISN 6 is basically North Carolina and Virginia, which comprises 7 main VAs.
The whole thing started with the Energy Policy Act of 2005, the Energy Independence and Security Act of 2007 that require all federal agencies to reduce their energy and water consumption.
ESPC stands for Energy Savings Performance Contract. You can get started with it with no upfront cost, but you pay for it over time with your energy savings. This project originally came about when we were doing our energy audit.
We visited each of the facilities within VISN 6. We looked at the utility bills, looked for what we call opportunities to improve the energy consumption. Then we went back to the billing data and we looked at how much was potentially there to save per year and bundled all of that into a statement of work that we then advertised out. The contractor is on the hook for the savings that they say they're going to achieve. They take that to a finance company and they provide the financing in order to accomplish that work.
We used our expertise understanding hospitals and then also mechanical and electrical systems to kind of dive into it a little further and to ascertain what other peripheral systems and problems and complexities were out there. And as a result, what we were able to do is put a complete comprehensive solution together.
Another great advantage of an ESPC is you're able to modify the contract as needed. For instance, at Durham, the original ECM for the chiller plant included one of the 2 cooling towers. Well, during construction, the other cooling tower had a major failure, and it was more economical to replace it than repair it.
That plant also at one time operated at a much lower temperature, which consumes more energy. We're able to raise the temperature now because we're able to move the water to where it needs to be.
Most of the other ESCOs or energy services companies would have a completely different architect and engineer firm working with them. One of the reasons we went with Con Edison Solutions was their design team was entirely in-house.
We not only can provide the construction, but also the engineering to actually develop and make sure we're catching all of the little interface points on those projects.
Quite frankly, that was one of the main reasons that we selected Con Edison Solutions was that in-house expertise. We really liked the fact that we were dealing with people within the company that we had the contract with for the design and engineering. Part of that expertise was that they had expertise in healthcare specifically.
The VA requirements for safety are pretty complex in and of themselves, and we seek to exceed those requirements wherever we can.
For instance, at Richmond, we replaced several air handling units. It's a hospital, you have to keep it online, and we did it by replacing a component at a time.
They were rather loud. We put in fan walls that made them quieter, and they were able to do that over a weekend, and that was a much better solution than the way we typically do it with this rebuild in place. That has improved our ability to provide care beyond measure because these things needed to be replaced.
Instead of replacing the entire fixture, which brings in a lot of dust, work above the ceiling, other issues in a hospital, we decided to go with retrofit kits for the main fixtures. These kits allow you to work below the ceiling and replace the fluorescent light and ballast and wiring with a LED and gives you about a 50% energy savings.
A lot of it has to do with resiliency, and also they've got some energy mandates for conservation of energy.
There are energy conservation measures that save a lot of money very quickly, and there are some energy conservation measures that take a longer time, and there's some infrastructure changes that we needed to get done. Bundling them over several facilities, it allowed us to be able to do more work at all the facilities by having one larger project.
A system that we found that showed really good payback was combined heat and power. Each of them are about a $4 million investment. They all show payback within about a dozen years.
All of this is planning. It all has to do with the way that you project manage and you construction manage projects, and then the way that you engineer a project.
The nature of the ECMs that we're dealing with are not necessarily in and of themselves complex, but when you bring them all together, it does get a bit more complex as far as personnel management, making sure that the schedule matches the safety effort, and making sure that our programs match up with the VA requirements.
Con Edison Solutions construction manager at each site is a good liaison for the VA, but there are 3 or 4 project managers for the 7 facilities.
The key to finishing ESPC projects on time or ahead of schedule is a constant flow of communication, coordination, and most importantly, proper planning in advance.
It's been a team effort from the start.
My name is Cesar Perez. I'm the construction manager at Fayetteville.
My name is Larry Smith. I'm a construction manager for Con Edison Solutions.
Daily plan of the day meetings with contractors, going through what we've accomplished that day, any issues that have arisen.
My name's Bill Roberts. I'm a project manager with Con Edison Solutions.
And I'm Frank Nowitzki. I'm the energy manager here at McGuire VA Hospital, and I'm the technical monitor for this contract.
People had to be moved around. We had to work on weekends. We had to work nights. We had to do whatever was necessary in order to get the work done.
We were hit with a bunch of mandates to reduce our energy consumption, which is a good thing. This particular project is going to allow Vision 6 to meet those goals, which without this project, quite frankly, we would have not been able to do. It's another asset that we have that we can use to provide better care to our veterans.
All of our construction management staff, generally speaking, are veterans themselves. And so having that team to be able to take this not just as a job, but truly as a mission, continues on their service even after they've left the armed forces.
The benefit of performing ESPCs for the VA is that they allow outside contractors such as Con Edison Solutions to do the work that Con Edison Solutions specializes in, focuses in, and does every day, which allows the VA to work on the things that they need to specialize in, such as veterans care.
The best benefit that I've seen for the VA has been improved HVAC for our veterans in the building. Con Edison Solutions team, a lot of them are veterans, and so it hasn't been difficult to get our mission across to them because they all espouse the need to honor veterans and put them first in everything we do.